Sure. Welcome to the show. It's a horrible show, a terrible show, absolutely the worst. You can ask anyone about it, especially my wife. We're dealing with some stupid technical issues because YouTube is being a dick. But that's what YouTube does. They like to be dicks. Well, we got a lot to talk about today. There's a whole bunch of tabs to go through. And my wife's going through making sure right now they're all scrolled up because we were messing around with them just before this too. So let's see. Shall we get into the first article? You ready, babe?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, she's ready. Let's hit up that first article. Suspect in the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting charged with attempted assassination. Trump shares confidence in security. Scroll on down. Let's see what we got here. I don't know if you got around to highlighting this one or not.
Nope.
No? So Cole Thomas Allen, a 31-year-old California man, was arraigned on Monday in federal Washington, D.C. court and charged with attempted assassination of a president, a charge that carries a maximum sentence of life in prison. Babe, you're much faster at reading stuff out loud than me, but also in your head. So if you want to just skim ahead of us and point things out too. So guy frickin', I don't know the full details on it. I haven't gotten a chance to do a bunch of research. I've been pretty dang busy this week. But for the most part, it sounds like they really can't stop anyone from getting guns into a hotel for the most part. He probably got into the hotel maybe a day before or something because he's from frickin' California. Brought his stuff in, and at that point, he's got Fourth Amendment protections, and then decided to come down and frickin' try and charge through security.
Yeah, but there was also that video I showed you where potentially a canine was notifying its handler that he was in a room, and the handler just kept on making him go. I didn't see about the sound. Maybe he tried talking to the guy, and the guy had it hidden. I don't know. But that's a little sketchy.
It could be sketchy, but it's also, we don't know the full story, and that's the whole point of investigations. Every single incident like this should receive a full investigation, even on security side, because I don't know what the story was. Like, for all I know, they may have cleared that room, but then later left it alone, not realizing someone had an opportunity to sneak in, and then the dog's warning them of a guy in a room when they think there might not be a guy in that room. I don't know. I imagine security's pretty tight, and that's not an issue. They include an attempted assassination on a president, which has a maximum life sentence in prison, transportation of a firearm and ammunition in interstate commerce with the intent to commit a felony, which has a maximum of 10 years, and discharge of a firearm during a crime of violence, which has a maximum of 10 years. Or a minimum of 10 years, maximum to life. Scroll up. Yeah, the assassination charge was added Monday. Officials said initially that Allen would face a charge for the Secret Service officer struck by a bullet, dumbass. Okay, look, Deseret News, I like you guys, but do a little bit more research. It was buckshot. It was a shotgun he had, and it was buckshot that hit him in the chest. He's fine. I imagine he's still pretty sore because getting hit by anything in the chest, even with a vest on, it's going to knock you down. It's going to be really painful. I think, what was it? A .45 caliber handgun being fired into a bulletproof vest feels about the same as being hit by a ball pitched by a Major League Baseball player at around 103, 104 miles per hour.
I don't know.
And guys, baseball players have been hit by that and had their ribs broken in the past too. So the guy's not feeling good. He's fine, but he's probably still a little freaking sore from it. So Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche said Monday that, quote, "We want to get that right." in response to a question about whose bullet struck the Secret Service agent. He confirmed that 5 shots from law enforcement were fired and believe it was from one officer, but is still collecting information. Okay, so it may have been friendly fire, which, I mean, good thing I had a vest on, but from the video, from what I saw, it looked like the shot came from the vest. Or, sorry, from the assailant, from this, whoever this guy is, this Allen guy, and hit the officer in the vest. I mean, it's buckshot. It's going to spread apart. He confirmed that 1 shot was fired from Allen, but did not confirm or deny if Allen's fired bullet was the one that struck the officer. So basically, they're not revealing really anything about the investigation until they have all the pieces put together. Alright, let's scroll on down.
Yep.
Apparently he had a manifesto. Let's scroll down to see if this article has anything on the manifesto at all.
But I believe he was a school teacher previously.
Yeah. That's what I understand, is he was a school teacher in California. So this just goes to show you people, like, who are the kind of people that are actually teaching your kids, who you're leaving them with on a daily basis. Blanche detailed Allen's movements from his home in California, arriving in Washington approximately 1 p.m. Eastern Time.
Daylight.
I know, Eastern Time on April 24th, according to Blanche. Allen was staying in the hotel April 24th to April 26th after making a reservation April 6th. So he was planning on this well in advance. So, I mean, they've got premeditated on there, definitely. He left his home near Los Angeles on April 21st, traveling to Chicago and from Chicago to Washington via train. Interesting choice.
Maybe less security.
True. Trains do have less security because trains don't typically fly into towers, so there is that.
And Allen rushed the security checkpoint holding a gun when a Secret Service officer heard a gunshot. But that's pretty self-explanatory. But here is a little bit of manifesto, but it doesn't say much. Maybe down farther it will.
Where he detailed his intent was to target as many Trump administration officials as possible at the dinner. They believe that he was working alone. Scroll on down.
You're going to read it out loud or read it to yourself?
The New York Post first reported that Allen sent a manifesto to his family members moments before he rushed the security perimeter, calling himself the friendly federal assassin, and said that his targets were administration officials. He wrote that he was willing to, quote, still go through most everyone here to get the targets. Well, I mean, he's stated his intentions pretty clearly, so I guess conviction will be pretty easy.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows? We still don't know a lot of information. I just worry that stuff's coming out saying he was a school teacher. What was he doing in the school? What was he teaching? Probably
everything that a school normally teaches, if depending on what subject he also taught. But then probably putting in his own political bias, and then also probably freaking soliciting students for different rallies and whatnot to help radicalize them. All right, let's go ahead and hit that next tab. So that was a big story, at least. His third assassination attempt on Trump.
But this was lucky. Law enforcement confirmed to CBS News that Allen's brother was alarmed to receive his brother's email and called police in Connecticut to alert them on Saturday evening.
Yeah, no, I saw that.
So that is good. His brother actually
His brother's not a psycho. That's the thing. His brother still may be a Democrat, but he's not a psycho. All right, let's go ahead and hit that next tab. We got these things to get through here. So, 250th, as you can see on the flag here on the table, 250th birthday of the United States is coming up. Utah has a new license plate coming out. You have a limited amount of time to be able to order it. Ordering what starts June? Yeah.
June 1st.
So the ordering starts June 1st. Scroll on down. So here is our new license plate. And you said you want it. I know that.
Yes, I want it. I don't get to demand very many things. And I've been wanting possibly the black license plate. I wanted something unique. But since this came out, I'm saying I want it. I want to be one of the very first people, if we can, to get it. So in a month.
Order it as soon as possible, pretty much.
Yes, I want it on my car before the 4th of July.
Oh, we're not getting it before the 4th of July.
I can at least hope and dream.
I know. No, I doubt anyone is going to be able to get this before the 4th of July.
Then by the 24th of July.
I don't even know if it'll come that soon. Ordering's only going to last 14 months is what they said.
July 31st of next year, 2027.
Yeah, so pretty much just 13 months is all we're going to have to order it. 13 to 14 months.
What do you like about the flag? What do you like about the license plate? I like the flag.
It's the only one that frickin' looks good besides Idaho. Idaho released theirs, and theirs actually looks pretty decent, but every other state, it looks like frickin' trash. Like, holy crap, are frickin' the Rocky Mountain states the only ones that have any decency when it comes to frickin' design ideas? Like, gosh damn, it's terrible.
And I'm not picky. We don't have to customize it. I'm fine with just having the standard license plate numbers I have, but I want the license plate.
Yeah. No, I get it. If you want a custom plate, though, start thinking of it now, because then at least we can go ahead and put it in.
Well, then start thinking. Let's start planning it out.
Actually, I got a good one already. If they don't require... Do they require numbers, or are numbers just optional?
I think numbers are optional.
Yeah, that's right. Numbers are optional. I got it.
Okay. Well, don't let anyone
I'm
know.
not telling anyone, but I already got it. I love it.
What about you? Do you want one too?
Yeah, we might as well, right?
Yeah.
And this one can be mine, the one I'm thinking of. We can get a different one for you.
Support America.
Yeah.
So think about it. June 1st, you have 1 month to figure it out. And then you have a little over a year after that.
Yeah.
Then they'll be gone.
Yep. So let's go look at the other states that have announced. These look like trash. Scroll on down. Except Idaho's. Idaho's actually looks pretty good. So several states. There we go. So
yes, list of the states.
So 11 states. There's actually like 13 total now that have announced.
I think it's just 12.
12 or 13?
I think it's just been 12.
Because that one had 11, but it didn't have Utah on it. But
yeah,
Utah had announced after this article on USA Today.
And I tried Googling, and there's no updated articles, so we'd have to search by state.
Yeah. So here is Delaware's, which actually isn't bad. It's mildly patriotic, but it's relatively a simple design.
Yeah.
I don't mind it. It's not bad, but let's scroll on down. Let's take a look at the others.
This one reminds me of a hot air balloon. It does. You're just missing the basket.
This one's embarrassing. Okay? This one's just embarrassing to me.
Why?
Look at it. It's just, it doesn't look festive. It looks like they broke a word up into two parts with sample there. That's it.
At least they have the "In God We Trust." That's good.
Well, at least they got the 250. Some states don't even make any sense. Go ahead. Let's go to Georgia. So apparently Georgia had a competition, and this was done by...
I think so. I'm not fully guaranteed.
May have been done like by a middle school student. So, I mean, props to him for putting it out there. Not my favorite, but...
That's why they're doing the battles here. That were in Georgia.
Oh, okay.
So that's what those stars are for. That's kind of cool that they're putting that into it. So this is nicer. I like where they put some history into it.
The stars on that make sense then. I would have, I don't know. I think they could have done the same thing, but just made it look a little better.
At least like make the flag a little bit bolder, stand out.
Or a different color background, honestly. But it's not bad though.
I mean, if it was more textured, it looked like old parchment. And maybe have the Declaration of Independence in it, faded on the other half. That would have been cool.
A different background with a faded "We the People" going diagonally across would have actually been great. Scroll on down.
But this one's still not bad compared to some of the others.
Yeah. Idaho. Not terrible. They kind of look like Utah. It's just a different version
And
that Utah did.
As the stars in the background, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, faded stars in the back.
Mm-hmm.
I can barely see that on this screen.
Yeah.
Indiana. That poor state.
This one's, it's good, but I wish it was better. They have the 250.
I don't like it. I hate it.
That's just a
Sorry.
weird thing. It has the recycle sign in the corner. I'm sorry.
America, made out of recycled British parts. Get the recycled symbol off of that.
I'm not seeing all the others. That's why I don't know if it's intentional or...
It might just be a state thing that they just have all their license plates are made out of recycled aluminum or something. I don't know.
But there could be some significance for why they did the torch and the stars. And I'm just curious. It's just, I wish it was a little bit more.
I have no doubt that all of them put intent behind all of the stuff they put on it. I'm just saying that a lot of them look like crap.
Yeah.
We made out of recycled British parts. That's perfect.
I'm sorry.
That's what that recycle symbol stands for, is we're made out of recycled British parts.
It looks like you were about to spit it out when I told you that.
No, I didn't even think about that.
Okay, you ready for the next one?
Until you pointed out the recycle symbol, I didn't even think about it. Scroll on down, yeah. Because that recycle symbol's on freaking everything. Massachusetts looks like a European freaking license plate. It looks bland and boring.
Yeah.
Basically, except, I mean, of course, European license plates are elongated. They're skinnier, but still, it looks bland and boring.
I like where it has the 1776. It has the stars.
Okay.
But I just want
To
more.
be fair, I'll give them credit. They at least have 250 and 1776 on it.
Yeah.
To be fair, they at least have that. So let's go ahead.
I don't know about this one.
Perfect timing, because this one's dog crap. I can't believe Michigan did something so stupid. I don't mind the concept behind the background. I think it's just terribly executed. But there's no 250 on there. There's no 1776 on there. There's nothing identifying it specifically with the 250th anniversary, besides the fact that there's a 26 for 2026.
They say it is a modern take on the original 1976 bicentennial plate.
I feel bad for the people who had to see the bicentennial plate. If that's... I'm sorry, but seriously, that's... I'm not impressed.
Okay.
Let's scroll on down. Let's see who else we got.
I like the Liberty Bell.
It's boring. It's boring, Christy. It's
I know.
boring.
Hence why I want our plate, and I've told you that. I want Utah's plate on my vehicle.
At least they put the Liberty Bell on it, okay?
Yes.
I mean...
We do like the Liberty Bell.
It's probably one of the most iconic symbols with the Revolutionary War is that bell.
And
but
I like
and
the
and
Let
it's
Freedom
in
ring.
their state.
I like the Let Freedom ring on the bottom.
Yeah. But I mean, you couldn't have made it any worse when it comes to execution. Like, don't put the whole bell on it. Put half the bell on it and have the shape of it just halfway coming off the side of it, and then have something else with a different color background or something. Gosh, maybe I should be the one designing frickin' license plates for places.
I don't know.
I'd be better than that. Mine might be ugly, but they wouldn't be boring. Scroll on down. Let's see. Do we got any more to crap on? I would debate on South Carolina where it says where the Revolutionary War was won. I would debate that. At least they've got something referencing the Revolutionary War on it, unlike frickin' Michigan.
But that makes me wonder, was that possibly the original flag?
I don't know. I do know, to be fair to South Carolina is the first state, I believe, that effectively declared independence from... Yes. They're the first state to have declared independence from the British, effectively. But then they also are the first state that seceded from the Union, too. So I guess they kind of neutral themselves out there. But it could be, honestly, a lot of these plates, the problem is just they go with a bland background.
Yeah.
That's really their problem, is they go with a bland background. I mean, imagine if it was that same, basically take that picture it has, the square, and put that across the whole frickin' plate. And leave where the Revolutionary Wars won up near the top and South Carolina near the bottom and whatnot. And just have the numbers going right over the image. Mm-hmm. That would have been better.
Yeah.
And they'd still have the same frickin' symbol. All the same things would be on there. It would just, I think it would look better like that.
They just didn't put enough heart into this, being our 250th anniversary, or is it because they're mad about Trump, they didn't want to put emphasis into it?
I don't know. South Carolina, they're relatively conservative. It shouldn't be an issue.
I know.
All right, scroll on down.
That's the last one. Is that the worst out of them all?
It's not the worst, but it's the most personal because I served my mission in Virginia. Pull up a new tab. Pull up frickin' Virginia state flag.
Okay, let me find it.
Gosh. It's not the worst one, but it is the most personal to me because I served my mission there. I lived there for frickin' 2 years. Pull up the frickin' image. Make it nice and big if you can. There's the seal. Alright, so Virginia, if you can see it, Virginia has a lady with her foot on the chest of a tyrant that she just frickin' killed, saying Sic Semper Tyrannis, or I believe that's death to tyrants, or I believe it's, I can't remember exactly what it stands for.
Well, Tyrannus could make sense for tyrants.
Well, yeah, no.
And Semper, I think that means like kill. Because Semper Fi is what our Marines say.
No, Semper Fi is always faithful, though.
Faithful? So
I'm wondering if it's death always to tyrants is effectively what it says.
Probably.
I don't know. I'm not sure, but either way, though, it's a frickin' woman not standing over a tyrant she just killed with her frickin' tit sticking out of her shirt. Okay, and then you go back to this frickin' license plate, and it's like, where the heck did the creativity go? It's like frickin' 250 years ago, they had more freaking creativity than they do now.
I don't get the 250va.org. Is that going to actually be on all the license plates? That just seems... Or are they talking about their history? Maybe.
I don't know. Virginia250.org.
Did you want me to look it up?
No.
See what it pulls up?
You know what? Why not? Let's pull it up. va250.org. Let's see what the heck's on it. If they've already got that on there, they've already got a domain for it. Oh no, I'm nervous. Okay, not bad. Scroll down.
So...
Just scroll down, let's see.
Events, so it's just...
Okay, so it's an information website of all the things that's going on for the 250th year of the United States.
But that just seems weird to have that on a license plate. If that stays permanently, that means after the 250th anniversary...
This website will become worthless afterwards. Yeah, I wonder if it's not going to be on the license plate and they just put it on there for show. Just to show people.
Hopefully. I hope so. That just seems kind of strange. Like, that looks better.
That is better. That is objectively better.
Mm-hmm.
My goodness.
Like that. America. Made in Virginia. The dates, the stars.
Yeah.
That looks better.
America, made in Virginia?
Yeah, man. I know.
I think Pennsylvania would have a few words to say about that. I think Pennsylvania would have a few words to say about that. Made in Virginia, I mean, there's some very important figures, like George Washington and Thomas Jefferson both came from Virginia.
True.
But I wouldn't say the whole country was freaking forged in Virginia.
I like the statues.
Oh, those are nice.
Mm-hmm. I like the
All right.
statues.
Let's go ahead and get off this topic and get to that next tab.
Well, the next tab is something we wanted to bring up. Missouri will not have a 250th anniversary plate.
For now.
For now.
That might change. It was kind of stupid. Basically, it takes like 2 years or something for them to go through this stupid bureaucratic process to get a new license plate, and no one made the suggestion 2 years ago or put in a proposal for it, so they're not going to get one. They might change that. They might pass a law that allows them to just freaking cram through a new license plate, but it's pretty stupid though.
So if you want something, you better harass your state if your state doesn't have anything being produced. Let them know. We want something. This is a huge milestone for our country.
Sooner is better than later. Yeah, I know. This is the 5th Jubilee. This will be the 5th Jubilee of our nation.
But I saw, apparently, I think 1 or 2 of these states that released this 250 commemorative license plate, some of them possibly got released in 2024. And so they're going to stop selling them soon.
I mean, that makes sense, though. It's better to sell it early than to be late to the party. Like, what is this, Missouri?
Yeah. Where they're not even discussing it. I'm going, really? But then we only have 12 states, as far as I can tell, have done a license plate.
Yeah.
So many people don't want to really recognize it, I guess, which is kind of sad.
Yeah, I mean, it is sad, but what do you expect when so many frickin' states are being taken over by foreigners for the most part? Like, we got so much immigration coming to the U.S., and now we really have no culture anymore. It's just crumbling apart.
Yep.
So it's hard to say.
And we need to keep a close eye on our states, especially rural ones. I know we have an article we didn't bring up tonight, but it's discussing that Utah might become Little Somali if we are not careful.
Yeah.
A lot of them are immigrating over here or moving from another state here because of our friendly environment in northern Utah. So we're getting a little worried.
Yep.
And they're not wanting to talk about it.
Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and move along. Move along like I know you do. So, we got data centers going up all over the U.S. and
you know how people keep complaining that they're being a little shady?
Yeah. That's pretty much what's going on here in Utah. There's a lot of information being thrown out there, and a lot of it is not making sense.
And a lot of other people are complaining that they're not even being notified until the day of for a final hearing about a data center.
Yeah, final hearing, and yet no one's heard of all the previous hearings beforehand.
Yeah.
So yeah, data center vote put off after Box Elder County residents expressed concerns. Scroll on down. So 40,000 acre data center will 40,000 acres. Is that talking about the water rights? The 40,000 acre water rights? Or
I don't
what?
know. It just says a 40,000 acre data center will be moving to the area. They're expecting to be pretty decent sized.
Yeah, I hope that's not frickin' square frickin' footage. That doesn't even make sense. I imagine that's the water rights access it's going to have because it needs frickin' water, which we need to ban that here in Utah. We can't be letting these people get frickin' water here in Utah. We don't have water for ourselves. This year has been so frickin' bad. So 40,000 acre data center will be coming to the area. Many attendees were concerned that it was the first time they heard about the facility and felt as if it was being rushed towards final approval, which is definitely true.
Yeah?
No,
this
is a huge problem we've got here in Utah right now. So many of these city governments and whatnot are cramming shit through without notifying the residents, and quite frankly, it's like we need to just put a memorandum on any new data centers in Utah. We need to end it because we don't have water for ourselves, let alone these freaking data centers and how much water they consume. Great Salt Lake's been shrinking. We're running out of water everywhere. The job site I've been working at in construction, we're supposed to be under 6 to 8 feet of snow right now where we're at, and we have none.
But like you're saying, they're being shady. We have a subdivision going in that people rejected it, and yet it got pushed through saying we're building it anyway, even though people in our own city rejected it.
Yeah, which that should be freaking. Well, I would probably say felony, like that should be considered a forcible felony, realistically.
You have to wonder who's getting the money.
The city councilman. People, if you don't get involved in your local government, start getting involved now. They affect you the most directly, and I guarantee you, you think the corruption on the national level is bad. Wait till you see the people at the bottom in your city governments. They will kill you for a few dollars. They don't care. They will sit there and let your children be raped if it gets them a few more dollars. How do I know that? Because that's what they're doing. They're taking federal money and crap like that to get different migrants in from countries that don't have our same morals. And now all of a sudden they're getting these tax dollars and we're getting screwed. Mm-hmm. So, frickin' heck, like, you think the federal politics is corrupt, go check out your local politics. It's way more corrupt, and they get away with it a lot more because you and others like me and stuff, we're not paying attention.
Yep. So Brigham City resident Savannah saw this notification earlier that day on Facebook. She said, it matters, like, we need jobs, but for us to be bringing things to Utah that are using resources that we don't have. We don't have the water.
We don't. Mm-hmm. We are running out of water in the state of Utah way too fast, and we're going to see mass migration out of the state of Utah because water just won't exist. Mm-hmm. It just won't exist here at the rate it's going on. And we're the biggest state when it comes to investing in weather modification tech, and where is it going? It ain't doing crap for us right now. We don't have the water we need.
Yep, and that's the sad part. We talked about it a couple episodes ago about how much water these will use and how efficient is the closed loop system going to be. If that water leaks out, it's going to poison the aquifer. Nothing's ever 100% efficient. Mm-hmm. So they'll always lose some water. The question is how much. But then we're also discussing how much energy is going to need if they don't build their own power plant.
They have to build their own power plants. Utah won't be able to support them at all. We won't be able to do anything at all. Like, people won't be able to freaking drive their cars. They won't be able to freaking turn on their lights at their house because it'll all be way too expensive to do.
So her worries and those of many of others created tense moments during the meeting before details of an interlocal agreement between the county and the Military Installation Development Authority eventually emerged. MEDA. So apparently the county has an agreement with them for some reason.
Yeah, sounds like it needs to get shut down.
Mm-hmm. At its core, this project is about infrastructure that supports the military mission. Reliable energy and secure data systems are no longer optional. They are part of the foundation of how national defense operations operate today.
If it's involving the military, I get why they're choosing Utah. Mm-hmm. We're not an easy state to get access to, and we're very easy to defend. And so putting their data centers here for systems that they need, because they're probably looking at incorporating AI into a lot of military systems, it makes sense. But we can't afford it. Like, you're going to have to start importing water from other states to do this. We can't have you taking our water.
Well, just like you and I were discussing earlier, a lot of people in our state are not being happy with Cox, where Cox is saying, we need to secure our water resource. You guys need to not water as much. We need to be careful with our water resources. In the exact same time, he's saying, I'm giving us data centers that are going to use that water that he's trying to make us preserve.
Cox needs to get his name out of his mouth and start actually doing stuff that's right for Utah.
So that's weird. He's being a little two-faced. Preserve water, but then give it to the data centers. I'm going to choose which side you're on. Data centers or preserve water.
Oh, he's not on the side of Utah. Cox is not on the side of Utah. He's been screwing us over ever since he's gotten in office. Mm-hmm. He's been pretending to care about us when he doesn't. She claimed they have 100% consent from all private landowners in the area and the rights to 3,000 acre-feet of on-site water, which is not from the Great Salt Lake.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's not from the Great Salt Lake, because it may be going to the Great Salt Lake.
So the person's name is Hillary Venable. That's who Venable is. That's the person who said this, that they've gotten 100% consent. Are you sure that they've gotten consent? We've had them being shady before.
Here's the thing. Consent is an interesting word to choose. It doesn't sound like they may have consent. I don't know if they actually have full agreement. Like, it may not have been voluntary.
Or
that's the thing. It may not have been voluntary. They may have been pulling some strings to force people to consent to it.
Or they misled them on, oh, you're signing over to your water rights, and they don't know what they're agreeing to.
I wouldn't put it past them to frickin' mislead people the way they're trying to cram this shit in so fast. Mm-hmm. So I would not put it past them at all.
So META, the military, says the full build-out will take about 10 years. And by the time it's done, it could support up to 8 gigawatts of power. They claim the center could bring more than $100 million in annual revenue to the county, along with thousands of jobs.
Yeah. I wouldn't agree that it's thousands of jobs. That's exaggerated.
Now, maybe thousands of jobs during the building for 10 years, but once it's done...
No, data centers do not require a lot of people to manage them.
What about this being a military one? Possibly.
Thousands of... That's not bringing... If it's military personnel, it's not bringing thousands of jobs.
Maybe 200-300?
Those are jobs that already exist. Mm-hmm. Anyways. It's not bringing jobs.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe 200-300 max?
At best, not even that much, I don't think.
Yep, and so they say permanent jobs will stay with the development, approximately 2,000, but you think that's a BS. I
think it's bullshit. I think they're fluffing the numbers by they're not bringing jobs here, but rather moving people into the area who are going to have those jobs.
So you know how we were questioning, does she really get 100% consent? Right here. While Venable said MIDA had done due diligence, she admitted that no impact studies had been conducted in relation to traffic or the environment.
Oh, so it's not informed consent. If they haven't done any studies, it's not informed consent. So if it's not informed consent, it's not consent. That's been ruled in courts, in federal courts. If it's not informed consent, then it's not consent. And if they haven't done the studies to show if their land is going to be okay, not informed consent. What they need to do is build the data center, get it moving, and then one of the landowners needs to sue and shut the whole thing down because of it. Mm-hmm. That's what I want to see. Make sure their millions or billions are freaking wasted and they get a fucking pull up their ass over this. I'm sorry for cussing, but these data centers are not good for us. They're going to screw us over.
Well, we've also been discussing a little bit
Get them out of our desert states. Take them to states that have plenty of water. We don't want them here.
You and I have also been discussing a little bit about Rocky Mountain Power possibly trying to... They had a permit submitted. It got rejected twice. Now they're trying to kind of change the law so they can just push through their power lines, the big, huge power lines they're trying to put through with no environmental study. They're trying to do a backdoor and avoid getting input from the public.
And to be fair, with power lines, it's a different story. It sucks that they're ugly,
but
they obstruct the view.
They're the big ones.
And whatnot. They do have an environmental impact, but it's not like these data centers where they're not sucking the water out of our ground or sucking our resources in and killing us.
But they haven't even done studies to see how it's going to affect the houses they're next to.
Yeah, no, they do need to do those studies. They need to do their due diligence, but clearly, though, these people didn't do any diligence at all. Yep. They didn't do the studies, so it's not informed consent. And if it's not informed consent, it's not consent.
Yeah, we don't know for sure what's happened now, but the commissioners decided to table the vote to let them go over the information. So I'm not sure if anything's gone through or not.
What that means is, oh shoot, we got caught, and now we have to let people go over all the information, which brings us to that next article, doesn't it?
Yep, it's a one person specifically, but it does point out some stuff that is worrisome.
Yeah, scientists share concern over proposed mega data center in Box Elder County. Scroll on down. Dr. Robert Davies, a professor of physics at Utah State University, said he and several of his colleagues have a few dozen lingering questions when it comes to the feasibility of a mega data center that could reside on a campus across some 40,000 acres in northwestern Box Elder County.
40,000 acres.
So what it probably is they've got just like a crap ton of smaller buildings that are all linked together is probably what it is.
Maybe.
The proposed project would initially generate some 3 gigawatts of power. From what we understand, they're building the power plant to power, which is good because that's not going to really raise our electric bills here in Utah because there's not demand being put on our power supply. Then of power eventually ramping up as much as 9 gigawatts. This is New York City scale level of power consumption. So pretty much adding New York City to our entire state in how much power consumption it is.
And that's just this one center.
Yeah. In order to do that, you need quite a bit of water for the operation of a power plant. Scroll on down. In addition, he's concerned about the massive carbon footprint that he believes would be generated by producing that much power. First of all, I don't care about the carbon footprint, but this guy does, and him and I both agree there's a problem with these data centers. So it's like, I don't agree with him on the carbon footprint because I don't care because carbon dioxide is good for our environment, but he's at least on our side that these data centers are a problem. The information here doesn't make sense. Scroll on down.
Yep.
9 gigawatts of power of natural gas will raise Utah's current total greenhouse gas production by about 50%. Bonus side, that helps make the world a greener place.
Yeah, but with us not getting much water, what's it going to do if we're not getting water here?
Well, that's the thing is the way natural gas works is you frickin' boil water, then steam power powers the frickin' generator or spins the actual turbine that makes our electricity. So, I mean, it's a simple concept. It's funny that we have all this technology and we haven't really gotten past the steam engine. We're still using the frickin' steam engine to do stuff. But it's extremely, relatively efficient way to do it. And they have closed loop systems, so the water that's used gets condensed back down and comes back into the system. They do have some loss. There's always going to be loss, but that's kind of the kicker, though, is they don't. That's what this guy's getting into, is they don't really have a good way to show how they do that.
But beyond questions over the impact of power generation, Davies said it's still very unclear how the data center could be cooled without using large amounts of water. While Utah's Military Installation Development, or MEDA, told Box Elder County commissioners that Project Stratos would use a closed-loop cooling system, Davies isn't clear on where the heat will be expended.
Yeah. So if you don't know the basics of thermodynamics, that heat, to cool down those data centers, that heat has to be dumped somewhere. That's either dumped through atmospheric cooling, so they're taking this basically like a big old radiator for your frickin' truck, and the air's running through it, cools down those coils, and then it goes back into the engine. The antifreeze goes back into the engine, picks up the temperature, and cools it down some more. Effectively cooling it down in the process by pulling the heat away. And that's how you do it. That's how you cool things down, is you pull heat away from them. And typically, that is done through moving fluid, at least efficiently, by moving fluid across it. So that's your water-cooled systems, like the radiator for your truck. But then the other option is just dumping it into water itself. So they can have an atmospheric cooling, or it can go into a water source that then absorbs that thermal energy. And that's what he's talking about here. There's 2 ways to dump that energy. One of them, you can try to dump it into the air, he explained, comparing it to the radiator system he sees in cars. ecologically speaking, is probably the best case scenario. It's still not good because it's an environment, it's an enormous amount of energy. The other option would be sending the heat back into the aquifer. So pretty much probably what I'm thinking what he's thinking about is taking it through pipes down into the ground and using the water in the ground to cool down the water that being used to cool the system.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Basically, these people don't care. They're here to screw us, and they don't really care. Mm-hmm. And it's a funny irony, because if they do this, they're going to screw over the state so much to the point that they are the problem that they themselves wanted to get away from. Mm-hmm. With all the high energy costs, with the high food costs, with high everything costs, everything's going to go up because it's going to affect us. If we freaking run out of water in Salt Lake, people are going to have to move out of the state. They're going to be leaving. And what are we going to have? Oh, all of a sudden now this massive decrease in population. Businesses are going to close. Food's going to become more expensive. Water is going to become more expensive too. Because if you need water, well, all the pipes still exist. So you have less people paying in taxes into a system to maintain the same amount of pipes that existed for a much bigger system. Mm-hmm. That's the problem frickin' Detroit is having. What's the name of that town? Flint, Michigan. That's the reason their water has been tainted, is because they don't have the tax base needed to maintain the system that they built, because people moved out of the city. And so it's gonna happen here if this crap happens. If they keep bringing in data centers, it's gonna end up causing a massive economic collapse here.
Yep.
If we run out of water, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? Maybe God will bless us, and so we don't have to deal with that. But I don't know. The way the world's going, I don't think we're going to receive a blessing on that anytime soon.
Yeah. Okay. So the META spokesperson said through an email, for phase 1, they expect to use about 24 acre feet for the data centers. And I'm thinking that's referencing water.
It is.
Okay.
No. When it's talking about acre feet, it's talking about the amount of water they're using.
The spokesperson further added that the water would be a net positive for the Great Salt Lake, as it would fall far below the water rights it would be able to secure for the area.
That doesn't even make sense. The spokesperson further added that the water used would be a net positive for Great Salt Lakes. Work on your English. For the Great Salt Lake, as it would fall far below the water rights it would be able to secure for the area. That doesn't even make any sense. Mm-hmm. You're saying a net positive would mean that you're bringing water into the frickin' state through what you're doing as a business. You're using water in our frickin' ground.
They're making it sound good, but I don't think they quite think about our whole aquifer as kind of one big huge thing, kind of connected. They might just suck it all out and dry up the whole aquifer for everyone, if they're not careful.
No, this spokesperson is full of crap. That's what's happening.
That's this next part that we pointed out.
I'm not... Yeah, so this is that...
The scientist.
This is that scientist they were interviewing again. I'm not a power plant engineer, but that is an extraordinary claim, he said in a text message. 24 acre feet for a 3 gigawatt facility is 97% more efficient with water than the most efficient gas plant I've been able to find. So,
and it says Astoria, New York. I think that's the one he's referencing. That's one that he...
Yeah, no, I think I agree with him. They're full of crap. They're lying about this. That's why they're trying to cram this through, because they knew no one would go for it. And now they've been caught and they're being forced to reveal this information, and people are finding out that they lied the whole time. This is all a lie. Just so they can get this facility built, because the city wants it there, because they want freaking tax dollars and shit from it. But it's going to screw us in the end. In addition, he adds that water is lost in evaporation even in a closed-loop system. That's what I was explaining. There's still always some loss. And heated water put back into the environment also evaporates more. Dr. Patrick Belmont, a professor of watershed sciences at USU, agreed. He worries that the data center would take Utah some major steps backwards in efforts to restore the Great Salt Lake. See, this is where it's like we as conservatives here in Utah need to really... It's weird bedfellows. It's a weird bedfellow, but the environmentalists here are our friends in this case. Because even though there's things we disagree on with each other, this is something we all can agree on, is just taking more water when we're already don't have the water we need doesn't make sense. We need to shut down this project.
And right here, Belmont summarizes that thousands of people have taken out their turf grass and replaced it with zero landscape or low water perennials. They've invested basically, you can say, $1 billion towards the goal. And they have almost nothing to show for that right now. And this is not how we keep not making progress. This is how we keep not making progress.
Yeah.
On getting the Great Salt Lake fixed.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, well...
Let's see, we're almost done.
Where are we at? Belmont adds his concern as a private citizen about how it's being pushed forward and his suspicions. Yeah, the way it's being crammed forward screams that they're lying and this is all scam.
And here's another quote he said.
There isn't a lot of science to support that this is a good idea, he said. And the reason you would rush it is because you want to be able to overlook things that are maybe inconvenient. This is the strange bedfellows thing. It's like I may not agree with him on environmental things a lot, but this is one area where it's like I have to agree with him. The fact that they're cramming it through as fast as they can screams that they are hiding something.
And a bunch of other states, we've seen articles here and there where people are reporting they find out last minute a data center is going in, or a data center has already been approved by their council.
Yeah.
And no one knew about it.
Maybe we should set up a GoFundMe or something for a lawsuit to sue. Because realistically, this is water in Utah. And if we run out of freaking water in the Great Salt Lake, it doesn't just affect the Salt Lake County area. It affects the whole state. The whole state's going to suffer from that.
And
we're all plaintiffs in this.
I looked up two different articles. One article was saying we have over 40 data centers here, but they're small, so I'm not sure if that's true. Another article said we had 12 or 13 in operation and another 12 or 13 being planned.
I imagine the 40-something is true. One thing I just thought of is that they're all probably really small because they're probably all like specific use data centers. So they have a lot of data in them, but that data all pertains to very specific things, specific tasks or specific subjects. And so they don't have to be very big to be able to do that.
Yeah, but this website, it had a couple and they weren't quite specifying very well.
Yeah.
Some of the data centers had two of them listed at the exact same address.
Yeah.
So I'm not exactly sure how legitimate that website was. It was showing them, but it's really questionable.
Yeah. All right, let's hit up that next tab. My daughter's being a pain in the butt for my wife right now. She's trying to now work like 3 or 4 different devices right now, trying to figure it all out.
You love your family.
Under one Rochester roof, DFL office, mosque, Somali community center, and 6 transportation companies.
Are you getting tired of talking about the Somalis?
I'm getting tired of talking about the inbreds. I mean, whether it's the royal family or the Somalis or the people of Alabama, I'm getting sick of talking about the inbreds.
That is mean. People would say that us, the LDS Mormon culture, we're inbred.
No, because we bring in people from all over the world, and we've been interracially marrying for a long time.
Yeah, but I'm just saying they might be
all
saying,
these other people, frickin' the English, the Somalis, and the Alabamans, they just have this tendency of keeping it in the family a little too long.
Okay, but I'm just saying an example would be, like, both of your parents are apparently distant cousins of mine.
Yeah, I know, but also, I'm adopted, so nailed it. So we're good there. Don't you worry.
Are you sure? Until we look up your family tree and find out you're maybe a third cousin of mine?
I doubt it. I really doubt it, considering the fact that your whole family history comes from a wholly different part of the country from my whole other side of the family history tree. So back to family trees that run in a straight line.
Or you mean in a wreath?
No, there you go, a wreath. That's another way to put it, the family wreath. So back to the family wreath. This I don't know much about this. This is an article you pulled. Scroll on down.
Yeah.
Oh man. So, inside Rochester's 1500 building, a dense cluster of tenants operate under one roof, including in the, Olmsted County Democratic Party, a Somali community center, an Islamic mosque, and a half-dozen transportation companies operating out of separate suites. So, first of all, it's less sketchy that they're all operating out of different suites. It is weird that freaking more than half of them or something, or half of them have Hassan in their name somewhere.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, it's not, when you're inbred, you don't have a lot of creativity for names. Dang, I am yawning a lot already.
Yeah, but this is just listing some of them, 6 transportation companies at that location, what they had.
So these may be legitimate. This is just a really strange coincidence that someone has found.
Yeah.
Last month, a viral post, political commentator Peter Berniger, I believe, raised questions on X about the unusually high concentration of transportation-related businesses operating out of the 1500 building. It's not just political commentators taking notice. A long-time Rochester resident told Alpha News that Nick Shirley's videos prompted him to pay closer attention to what he was seeing around town, and said the 1500 building quickly stood out as especially suspicious. This isn't confirmed. This isn't like that they are doing anything wrong. But it is notable that the fraud that was happening in Michigan, was it Michigan or Minnesota? Minnesota.
Well, I mean, like, some of these are weird.
Okay,
110E, it's just weird.
Yeah, just let me finish. It's just the fraud that was happening in Minnesota. What was happening is you had all sorts of companies that provided services related to what the other companies were doing. So it's like this company did this, but they needed the transportation company to come and do the transportation for this. So you had one person helping provide legal assistance for Somalis, but then they needed a translator. And so this other person had a translation business, but then that translator needed to be driven to and from court. And so then they had this other company that was a transport company transporting them around, and they were just doing this whole circle jerk thing to be able to actually get, basically funnel money out of the system into their pockets. So 6 transportation companies, half of them have Hassan in the name. It seems pretty freaking suspicious, is what it seems.
I'm just trying to point out, this seems a little weird. 201D, 201C.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
110E, 110F, 110A.
No,
That's all the same room. That's suite 110. That's why I say it's weird.
What do you mean? I'm not seeing what you're seeing.
110A.
Okay.
110F. That's the same suite. 110E.
So
It's like
it
one
may
room with
it may
offices.
be that it's just one room, but then each office is its own little business. So it could just be a bunch of these people in one building, just sharing rent of the building when they only need one office, and so they just sublease out. Subleasing's common in companies. Companies do subleasing all the time.
Yeah, but this is what this person pointed out that they noticed. There were all kinds of minivans parked in the lot. Some had a flat tire. Others had inches of snow on them. And looked like they hadn't been used in quite some time.
Yeah. And that's the thing, if these are transportation companies, why are they not frickin' driving their vans around? Especially if their van is their transportation company's vehicle. Yeah, flat tires and snow on top.
Sorry, my daughter hit the space bar.
Oh, that's alright, whatever. But, so yeah, it's weird. It is weird. But everyone should be paying attention more. Because the thing is, like, I axed the article for this today, but there's an article about Utah becoming basically a mini Somalia again, because a lot of frickin' Somalis are moving into northern Utah in the Ogden area.
Yep. And here's this one.
And to be fair, I mean, Ogden, not really the place the Somalis want to be moving in, since it's the frickin' home of John Moses Browning up there. There's a lot of guns up in that part of Utah, and they're very, very proud of their heritage.
But the article also was pointing out a lot of people from Minnesota and other states, other Somalis, are
moving here
there.
probably because they're getting caught over there, so they're shutting down business. They're going to start it up here soon.
Possibly.
So who knows? Maybe you and I will need to make some trips up to Ogden soon.
Yeah. So one of the transportation companies operating out of the building, Quadar Transport, is operated by Hawal Abdul, who appears to be the same individual who held a now revoked adult foster care license and home and community-based service license.
Yeah, so sketchy as hell.
And he also has 2 homes in Northwest Rochester, roughly 1/10 a mile apart, each valued at almost $500,000. 2 properties.
Yeah, sounds sketchy. Probably some piracy going on there.
And they were revoked. So they said because he had accumulated a lengthy list of violations. So that's why I'm going...
Involving residents' rights.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I'm sorry. Medications oversight, staff training, and record keeping. Basically everything involving his business was sketchy.
Yeah, then they point that he had some nice vehicles parked between the 2 houses.
Of course, right?
How are you paying for it? A Tesla.
Oh, tax dollars. That's how he's paying for it. Alright, let's go ahead and move on to the next article.
But yep.
Just pirates being pirates again, just on land instead of on sea.
And this apparently is not the first time this has happened in California. A year or 2 ago, it happened in another city.
So while the western U.S. is dealing, or the eastern U.S. is dealing with the invading Somalis, the western U.S. is invading with the Great Chicken Invasion of 2026.
Specifically California.
Yeah. So Sacramento neighborhood overwhelmed by chickens. Residents is estimated at least 100 running wild.
I saw another article.
It will not remain 100 for long.
In either 24 or 25, another city in California had around 1,000 chickens.
Gosh damn.
So this is 100, not 1,000.
No, it will not remain 100 for long. Incubation period is only a little over a month on those eggs. It
and
will
in
not.
6 months they're full grown.
And then they'll hatch, and so in like the frickin' 1 month, you're gonna be having literally hundreds of chicks, quite possibly hundreds of chicks. The population's going to explode.
Mm-hmm. And in 6 months, they're laying their own eggs.
I am looking forward to hearing about the 100,000 chicken invasion of Sacramento, California. Oh man, if only it was pigs, maybe it'll kick out some of those foreigners. That's alright. Either way, all of our water... By the way, all of our water pipes in the U.S., we use food-grade lubricants and greases when we're setting them up. So just so you know, those are pork-based. So if you can't have pork in your diet for some reason, for religious reasons,
all your water's contaminated.
All your water's contaminated.
So they're washing their feet in pork water. I'm sorry. I just had to point that out.
I didn't even think about that, but that's hilarious. All right, let's continue back to the chicken invasion. Yeah. The chickens were not only visible but also audible, with roosters often crowing early in the morning and waking up neighbors. Scroll down. Scroll down. There we go. They start up, you know, probably around 2 to 2:30 in the morning. And they just go all the time. It's nonstop.
And we have chickens, so we know this.
Oh, the noise is not only the issue. Residents report that the chickens jump into yards, tear up dirt, and leave waste behind. Oh, man, I guess the people of Sacramento there are finally figuring out what it's like to have people pooping on their porches instead of on their streets. It becomes probably a sanitary issue at this point. 100 chickens is not a sanitary issue yet.
You get mad at our chickens pooping on our deck, but you like the eggs.
I like the eggs, but it's not trust me, it's not a sanitary issue at 100 chickens. Call me back when the population's 100,000.
Or AKA butt nuggets, as your kid calls them.
Oh, man. Hey, I mean, the egg industry in Sacramento will probably be completely collapsed in like 6 months.
But the problem is, think about these eggs. If they don't hatch, the area's going to start stinking once summertime hits from the rotten eggs.
Oh, man. We need to keep tabs on this developing story. I just want to see what the hell is going to happen to Sacramento.
Because you know that drama. We have a duck. She loves to keep hiding her eggs.
Gosh, that duck's a pain in the ass.
And she doesn't even have a male. The eggs aren't even fertile.
No, they're not even fertile, and the dummy will just lay the eggs. And then as soon as we even put our eyes on those eggs, she gets into a hissy fit and finds a new spot to lay eggs. And so she's finding every way she can to hide those freaking eggs from us. Yeah. And then I had a fight with her today because she kept charging me because I kept trying to take her eggs. That was funny. Seeing this little freaking petite, tiny little duck trying to waddle its ass real fast at me is pretty funny.
You know you like her even though she's a pain.
Yeah. All right, let's hit up the next article.
So, keep an eye out for chickens in Sacramento.
Absolutely. You never know what those chickens are going to do. They're probably going to eat all your food. Not like they have much left there anyways. All right. Minnesota Democrats push bill to cut state aid to cities that fly the original state flag. In other words, the rest of Minnesota doesn't want to fly the Somali flag. So they're trying to fly their original state flag.
Well, you voiced that you're not happy with our flag, too. You want
our new flag looks like, I don't like it.
I wish they would have found a compromise in between the old flag and this flag.
Like, to be fair, I'll be fair that it's not ugly. I just don't like it.
I would like some more of the old traditional stuff put into it.
One person I know, they went off like, oh, it's easier for kids to draw because they struggle drawing, and the other one was like, well, then why are we lowering the standard? Maybe teach kids to draw better or something. Like, don't lower the standard. That's what Common Core was. That's what No Child Left Behind was. It was lowering the standards to get people to pass school. And all we have now is just a whole bunch of freaking kids that can't even read at grade level.
And it's even worse for the ones that were going to school during COVID. Especially the high schoolers. Those kids, they're not very good at reading, apparently by some of the statistics.
But yeah, so Minnesota wants to punish the cities that don't want to fly the Somali flag effectively. So, members of Minnesota's Democratic Farmer Labor Party, man, that sounds so communist the way that was written out, pushed legislation Monday to reduce state aid to a county or a city that flies or otherwise makes use of a state flag other than the design of the state flag as certified in the report of the State Emblems Redesign Commission. Does it have a picture here of the freaking new state flag?
Yes.
There it is, the Somali flag.
Did you want me to find a picture of the Somali flag?
Go ahead and find a picture of the Somali flag.
I know we've discussed it previously, and it's Interesting. It's close.
Basically, Minnesota has surrendered to their Somali invaders.
Let me see. Okay, turn down the volume.
Yeah, so one of the first results right there, Minnesota changes its flag, scrapping its history and going to something that looks more like the Somali flag.
I think it's...
It's basically just a blue field with a star. But you can see that since it's very similar colors, it takes from that design.
There it is. Comparison.
Yeah, the state. They clearly are taking from that design. They're just making it a little bit nicer looking.
Well,
But it looks... This is my problem, though, is that flag... What about that flag screams Minnesota?
They're saying that gives the image kind of Minnesota. That's what this is.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what that's supposed to be? I never would have frickin' guessed.
I know.
Because it looks like shit.
I know I saw it somewhere.
I never would have guessed, because that doesn't scream Minnesota. The original flag screams Minnesota because it actually says Minnesota on the flag.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is happening all over the U.S., and quite frankly, a lot of it is being pushed by organizations that have stated they want to destroy the individual state identities. Because if you have a state identity, if you are a Minnesotan first, that's a problem to these people. Because this is going back to the Civil War, where a lot of people did not consider themselves Americans. They considered themselves Virginians. They considered themselves Pennsylvanians. They didn't consider themselves Americans first. They considered themselves with their state identity first.
Yep.
And these people, they want to eliminate the state identity. They don't want me calling myself a Utah. They want me to call myself American, just plain and simple. Which isn't bad to be an American, but the whole point is destroying the individual state identities. Because you can destroy those state identities, you can destroy those state cultures. Mm-hmm. And you destroy those state cultures, you can create a monolithic culture that you can actually manipulate and control.
So this bill was introduced because some certain places were flying the old flag. They're not happy with the new flag.
Yeah, and they should keep flying it.
And this is the old flag.
It would be awesome, too, if they do just keep flying it and just stop accepting state funding.
And they're saying they did a change because it was considered racist because of a Native American, a gun next to a stump, and a farmer.
That's hilarious.
And other stuff.
Doesn't look racist. It just looks like a Native American riding a horse on the other side of the lake.
Yeah.
Or no, the other side of the field.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, don't care.
People are saying because it suggests indigenous people were chased off the land. That's what they're kind of saying, supposedly.
It doesn't look... Okay, go back up to the flag. Does that look like that farmer's chasing that Indian? Or does it look like that farmer's working on plowing his field?
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me.
In fact, he's not even holding the gun to point it at the Indian. He's just looking... You can tell he's looking at the Indian. He's looking at him. That's it.
Living peacefully.
And here's the thing a lot of people don't understand is there's a lot of mixed history with the Native Americans. There's a lot of tribes we had great relationships with, and there's a lot of tribes that we were very violent with. It's a very mixed history between the two, and it got ugly going both ways. We did bad things, they did bad things. And so it's like, just grow up. If anything, you should want to see that because then it helps remind you of the history of the state and how it was forged.
Yep.
And if you think it's a mistake that happened, guess what? It reminds you of the mistake. Because it's good to be reminded of mistakes so you don't make those mistakes again.
Yep, because we're running into where they want to hide stuff. They don't want to even talk about the Holocaust even happened. They want to kind of fake that it never did.
I know, right? That's basically like a Holocaust denier's freaking dream come true, which is absolutely absurd. Like, that's the most important.
Some people
you need to talk about these things.
Some people think it didn't even happen. It did happen. And people are getting brainwashed into kind of saying, oh, it's a myth. That is a lie.
It's that thing, as I mentioned it before, is like, I'll debate when I'm talking to some people who deny that it even happened at all. It's like, I'm sorry, that's just too far. Like, if you want to debate the actual numbers of how many people were killed, you can debate the actual numbers, because there is a range of estimations of how many people died, because they don't know the exact number, and they admit that.
But they have a pretty good estimate because they were tattooing the people at the main execution camp.
The most commonly accepted number is approximately 6 million. I think the low range is still like 3 million or something, but there is a range in which you can debate exactly how many people died. But it did happen, and it was grotesque.
Yes. It's sad. But down here, the new flag features an eight-pointed star against a navy blue background shaped to resemble Minnesota, next to a solid light blue field which represents the state's waters, according to the commission.
Lame.
Yep. And others say it's
I think that's an excuse for them trying to make the Somalis feel like they're back at home. And if you really want the Somalis to feel like they're back at home, frickin' drain the lake and dry out the land.
Or let them marry their cousins and see how it goes.
Isn't Minnesota the land of 1,000 lakes? Isn't that what they're supposed to be?
I don't know.
I think it's a land of 1,000 lakes.
But yep, there's a picture of the two.
Yeah. No. The Minnesota flag just looks like crap. Just like the Utah flag. I don't like it either. The new Utah flag.
Yeah. It can use some work.
We need to go back to our original flag.
Yep, but luckily, Republican House Speaker Lisa DeMuth, that bill is dead on arrival. There is no way this bill is moving through. To know that Democrats are trying to take funding away from our police and fire from our cities is ridiculous. We have real work that could help Minnesotans.
Yep. Yeah, that's the thing, is they don't care about your safety. They'll take money away from police officers if you don't do what they want you to do.
They're trying to make an example of you.
Mm-hmm.
But Minnesota has lost so much money with the Somali fraud. I'm surprised they're trying to push this, but it's their way of trying to save money.
Well, I mean, that's probably why they're doing it, is because they don't have money, so they're trying to push it so they can get away with not paying out all these funds.
And have you seen Tim Walz is kind of crediting himself for the fraud
being exposed?
The fraud arrests they're trying to do, or the raids. He's trying to take credit for it.
He's the one helping cover it up on the state level. Gosh damn. That's hilarious. Alright, let's hit up that next tab.
Yeah.
Alright, LA Council
concerning.
member pushes plan to let non-citizens vote in city elections. This, I won't spend much time on this really, but this is what happens though. A long time ago, they kept saying, not even that long ago, they kept saying, no, non-citizens aren't voting in the elections.
They're referencing federal only.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, it doesn't matter whether it's federal or not. Oftentimes, these are all on the same freaking ballot, first of all. So the chances of that getting mixed up is probably higher. Secondly, these people go on, they start with it's not happening at all. Then they start with, okay, it's a little bit, but it's not that much. Then they go to, okay, there's a lot more, but it's not significant enough to make a difference. And then they go to, yes, it is happening, and it's a good thing. And then they go to, we need to promote this so we get more of it. And that's what this is at here. They're now at the stage of saying, we need to promote it and make more of it. And so they want to legalize these people voting.
Or I think supposedly AOC said the Republicans or conservatives are trying to rig the elections by only letting citizens vote.
Yeah. See, that's the thing, is they're acknowledging it's happening, and they're also saying it's a good thing that it's happening. And it's like, no, it's not a good thing, because our culture shouldn't be wiped out.
Yep,
when we've been the most successful culture in world history.
So, Hugo Soto Martinez, the council member, has released the proposal on Wednesday to ask voters in the November 3rd election to give the council power to let non-citizens vote. That includes for mayor and city council and the Board of Education seats.
Yeah, hell no. They should vote against it.
But he's using his experience where he says whose parents were at one time undocumented and his proposal would help LA's immigrant communities at the time when they are under assault from the Trump administration, which has launched immigration raids across the county and sought to revoke birthright citizenship. He says, after my parents immigrated here from Mexico, they worked hard, paid taxes, and raised their kids in our public schools. But for decades, they had no say in the decisions shaping their community until they become citizens, which it's meant to be that way.
Yep.
You have to work for it.
Yeah, they shouldn't be able to shape the community until they're citizens. All right, let's hit up that next tab. I didn't want to spend a lot of time on this. It's just a point to make that now they're past the it's not happening, or it's only happening a little bit, and they're all the way to the stage of it's happening and it's a good thing.
But a concern is here. Non-citizens secured the right to vote in school board races in San Francisco.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So it is kind of starting to happen.
I know it is. It's been happening for a while. Yeah. All right, next tab. So this is freaking hilarious.
And you want to give this guy a round of applause? He did
Absolute
awesome.
Hilarious round of applause. Texas man scams migrants with false asylum promises. Some are calling him a hero. A Texas man was arrested for scamming migrants. He charged them $200 each, promising safe passage to asylum towns, but led them straight to ICE detention centers instead.
Do you think he looks regretful?
No, he doesn't look like he regrets a single thing. He's like, I'll do it again once I get out. Oh, it's hilarious. Scroll on down. I'm sure there's comments. There we go. But the scammers involved with the leering centers, etc., go unpunished. That's fair. It was probably the IRS that got him for not paying tax on it. Oh, that's a good reference back to Al Capone. All right. If they were stupid enough to be set up for a visit with NICE, then they deserve it. What law did he break? Is there a law in Texas that states he can't do that? I like that he used the word nice. There are people pushing to rename the Immigrations and Customs Enforcement to the National Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. Sorry, they're NICE agents, not ICE agents.
Yeah.
Which would be hilarious. He shouldn't be arrested. He did a legal thing except charging them $200. He was helping ICE out. Hey, that's a $200 tax stamp now from the ATF, right?
Hey, he got some people turned in just like the 4 we caught in Maine.
Man, all the illegal immigrants he busted, all they had to do was keep their mouth shut. That's all they had to do.
Yep.
And they couldn't even do it. They snitched him out. I mean, to be fair, he screwed him over, but it's hilarious. Alright, next tab. Alright, Deseret News.
I think you did this one already.
Yes, I must have accidentally duplicated that one. Utah reservoirs face a summer stress test, Utah Governor Cox says.
Which we're talking about him, where he's being two-faced.
Yeah, I know. We need to get Governor Cox to get his last name out of his mouth.
Will there be mandatory water cuts? And he's wanting data centers built.
There should be mandatory water cuts on data centers. They should be importing their water from other states. That's what they should be doing. We shouldn't be doing this bull crap. Taking our water here in this state for these data centers that are screwing us over. But maybe I should have done this article sooner. Right after the data centers. Because we got these bullet points here from Deseret News. Utah is entirely in drought after record low snowpack left the state with just 2.7 inches of snow water equivalent on April 1st compared to the usual 14. And as I said, like the job site I've been working at, we're supposed to be freaking 6 to 8 feet of snow as of just the beginning of this month, or at least as of April. And we have nothing there.
And what's going to happen if the Great Salt Lake dries up? I know you talked about a dust bowl.
Yeah, so basically take the dust bowl and times it by 10, because not only will we be out of water that we desperately need, but the problem though is we've had decades and decades and decades of industrial waste and byproducts slowly steeping into the Great Salt Lake. And when that dries up, all those chemicals are going to get picked up by the winds across the lake bed and blow right into Salt Lake City. You're going to get people, all sorts of illnesses, just constantly sick, headaches, all sorts of nasty symptoms. And you're going to have to leave the state because the whole Salt Lake County will basically be poisoned.
Oh, I just got an idea about this. Remember, just barely a month ago, President Trump visited and promised to help revive the Great Salt Lake.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's why Koch's like, let's get some data centers in here. We'll get more money.
Maybe. Trump's bringing in money to try and help recover the Great Salt Lake, and now all of a sudden they're throwing in data centers to basically counteract that. Oh, he's going to bring more water into the state somehow. Let's get the data centers to use that water.
It's questionable. I'm just saying it's a point to add and tie things together.
Mm-hmm.
You say they're conspiracy theories. Something's
evil and conspiring men is what it says in the Doctrine and Covenants. Evil and conspiring men. So, scroll up. Yeah, so 14 inches. The drought is slowing Great Salt Lake recovery, increasing evaporation risks and environmental concerns. I talked about that. Governor Spencer Cottonmouth is urging statewide conversation with mandatory government water use cuts, local restrictions, and heightened wildfire awareness. You know, the residents of Utah shouldn't have to cut water. The data centers and all these other people moving into the state over the last year and a half, they should be cutting water.
And we've done our part. We're switching our lawn to clover, so it's going to use less water, and we're not doing as much grass. We're not using any grass.
Clover does use a little bit. It's about the same amount of water. It's just when I've had it grown in the yard before, I've noticed it just doesn't seem to... When you forget to water it or don't have it watered as much, it doesn't seem to suffer as much, but then it still gives the flowers for the honeybees we got too.
Yep.
I still need to put in more trees for the honeybees. We have a really high water table right here where we're at, so that's why I've only used the sprinklers once, and that was today, and that was just a drip line for the bushes. Mm-hmm. And that's so far this year. I've only used it once. Because right now the amount of moisture we have in the soil here, because of our high water table, I don't need to use water yet for our lawn.
Yep.
But I'll let that go as long as I can.
But remember, if we get any rain, we're allowed to collect rainwater for your property and not transport it off.
Mm-hmm.
So start looking at getting water collection so you can use it for your gardens.
Yeah, anytime it does rain, save that water now because you're gonna freaking need it.
We're allowed to store up to a certain amount.
You can store up. It's really not much of a. There's not really much of a limit.
It just has to stay on the property it was collected.
You're allowed to collect up to 1,500 gallons, but then after 1,500 gallons, you just have to register, I believe.
Yeah.
But then registration's free.
Mm-hmm.
And so all it is that you're just notifying that you're collecting more than 1,500 gallons. That's it.
Yeah.
So it's really not much of an issue. All right, let's hit up the next tab. I think this might be the last tab for the night.
I think it is.
The Moroni Channel, Dirty Soda, born from LDS community. Word of wisdom goes mainstream. So if you haven't heard of Dirty Sodas, it's pretty much a Utah thing only. McDonald's designed to add dirty sodas to its national menu marks more than the arrival of a new beverage trend. It reflects the broader movement of a drink that grew quietly within a distinct religious culture and has now moved into the mainstream of American consumption. So basically, in Utah, if you ever come to visit, you will notice that in a lot of other states, there's bars everywhere for drinking alcohol. Every place sells alcohol and whatnot. Well, because there's so many people here that are LDS, because we freaking founded the state, we don't drink alcohol, and so our consumption is pretty low. Mm-hmm. Well, We do drink stuff, just not alcohol, and that's where soda comes in, especially these dirty sodas, as it's talking about. You will find almost around every frickin' corner there is a soda shop. That's all they sell is just soda. And they do all sorts of different mixes, mocktails. They're spiked with, as it's shown here, what my wife highlighted. At its simplest, dirty soda is a customized soft drink soda spiked with cream, flavored syrups, fruit juices, or combinations of all three. It resembles an alcohol-free mocktail. Pretty much just that. That's a pretty good definition of what it is. And they get interesting.
The only dirty, I guess you can say dirty soda I'd be remotely interested in with cream would be it's one of those, a pina colada. To me, that'd be the only one where I'd be interested in some cream being in it, where it's tropical. Any other soda like root beer with cream, Pepsi with cream, I'm not remotely interested.
They get really creative. If you get here to Utah, go to a soda shop, look at the menu. They get pretty dang creative, and it is a Utah thing, but I guess McDonald's has decided to take the trend to other places and see what happens. So we'll find out what happens there.
I guess we need different stuff to drink.
Apparently it's good enough that they think it'll sell in other places too. And to be fair, I'm not entirely surprised because alcohol consumption has been going down. People have not been consuming as much alcohol, especially the younger generations. But they're still going to want to go out and get a drink. And so the idea of these dirty drinks from Utah spreading to other states is not actually that far-fetched.
And it says it is allowed.
What?
Root beer. Water, herbal tea, hot chocolate, lemonade, root beer is allowed. Word of wisdom.
Okay. First of all, I guess it's Moroni Channel, so I mean they're not wrong, but at the same time when you're looking at this, the rules aren't hard set as much. You actually have to read it and really understand the language at the time. So scroll on down. So allowed water, herbal tea, hot chocolate, lemonade, root beer. Scroll down. Then moderation, diet soda, energy drinks, non-alcoholic beer, iced herbal tea. Non-alcoholic beer, just put that in the top, basically. The thing is all of those, diet soda, energy drinks, iced herbal tea, non-alcoholic beer, that all can go into the top.
Yep.
This is the issue, is this person's this is this own person's opinion on the lines. Energy drinks, you can throw that all the way to the very top. That's the thing, the hard set line, the only hard set lines that have been drawn is coffee and tea, and then technically the Word of Wisdom says hard drinks, but then soft drinks are technically, by the Word of Wisdom, allowed, but soft drink today means soda. Mm-hmm. Back then, not soft drink, sorry, mild drink is what it refers to. Back then, mild drink referred to alcoholic beverages that use a natural fermentation method. And so this was beers and wines.
But that makes sense for when they didn't purify their water.
But here's the thing, though. That's what the Word of Wisdom says. And so technically, beers and wines are not against the Word of Wisdom. Technically. Culturally, we have enforced it that way. Because in general, it's always bad to you don't want to be over-consuming it. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times when people do start drinking it, they oftentimes will end up over-consuming it.
Yep.
That's the other thing too. It's like when it comes to wine in the Word of Wisdom specifically mentioned for the use of our sacrament. So like the Eucharist that the Catholics do, where they use that cracker and the wine. We can technically use the wine, but it says to use one of your own make. So basically, it has to be a homemade wine, or if it's made by an LDS-owned business, which I don't think we have any more LDS-owned breweries anyways anymore.
Who knows?
I think they're all gone for the most part.
But I'm fine with just doing the water. I'm not remotely interested in the alcohol. I have no interest.
I've never cared.
Hence why they call it liquid courage and liquid stupidity.
But the thing is, though, too, it's like the mild drink allowing like those beers. If you make your own beer and do it, if you make your own beer, the probiotics that are going to be in that through the fermentation process, it's not going to be pasteurized like a lot of these drinks are. It's actually going to have a whole lot of health benefits for you. And if you're making it yourself, chances are the alcohol content's going to be a lot lower too. Mm-hmm. So be careful.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. The word of wisdom in Doctrine and Covenants 89, the word of wisdom has its own preamble and explicitly states the purpose. And the purpose is to protect us from evil and conspiring men. That's what it is. And that's the thing, is it's God throughout history has given different dietary codes or other codes that don't make sense, but primarily their reason is for us to stand apart from others, so we are different from everyone else in the world. What are you looking up?
Let's see if there's any new ones.
Oh, yeah, let's check out temple open houses, see what all's going on in the world.
Yep. But yeah, we're not interested in drinking alcohol, but who knows? There might be a time where the economy falls apart and we can't quite purify the water as easily.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's true.
I'm just saying that may happen. Who knows? We hope it does not, but we live in a world.
All right, so what do we got on these temple open houses?
Okay. So we had the Linden one. That one's done and over.
Mm-hmm.
The Philippines one, it's ending. Today was the last day.
Okay.
For their open house. It'll be dedicated at the end of the month.
Nice.
So this is one we've been interested in, but we don't have the money to go. Over in California, it started.
Okay. Yerba Linda, California Temple.
Yeah, the one
yeah, the one that looked like the old Spaniard building.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, I like that one.
Then, the Oregon
Willamette
Temple.
Valley, Oregon Temple. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Brazil. But Kyle, if you think about what we were discussing at the end of our last podcast, and I actually looked it up online, as of the beginning of March, we only have 214 temples operational as of March 1st. Of this year. Only had 214 temples operational, and we had 384 either operational, under construction, or announced. Isn't that amazing how many more temples we still have to go through for open houses?
Yeah, there's...
And only 214 are operational as of March 1st.
There's a lot of temples that haven't even been completed yet, nor they're still even working on the grounds or the approvals.
Because, yeah, this was now operational. It will be. It's going to be dedicated tomorrow.
Which one?
The Linden one.
Oh, yeah, the Linden Temple.
So that one's going to be
tomorrow.
operational next week. Is that exciting?
No, yeah, that's definitely great. All right. Well.
So, yeah, this one will be the end in Oregon, the end in about a week. Then this one, the Brazil Temple.
Yeah. That one looks nice.
This one looks cool, the Cleveland, Ohio. I like the darker top to it.
Yeah. No, that's quite nice. Then the San Diego Temple's getting rededicated.
This is the one you and I want to try saving up some money to go see.
Yeah, I know.
It'd be a 9-hour drive.
Yeah.
10-hour drive.
Then, of course, I think the Salt Lake has been officially announced, right? They just haven't actually started doing the tickets.
Yeah, that will be in September, I believe.
September next year.
Cambodia, this one, I would love to be able to see it.
I know, that one looks pretty nice, too.
Guatemala.
Ooh, Guatemala's getting a temple, huh?
Yes.
Do they have more than one?
I don't know.
Will this be number 2? I wonder if this would be number 2 for them.
I'm not sure. And
Or is it going to be the first one? Yeah, I know, Ephraim, Utah.
I'm excited about that one. The one we were joking about with the smaller mound. If it was the opposite way, it'd be kind of like
it would look a lot like a mosque if the back was actually the front. It would look a lot like a mosque.
But you say the gold is not as bright. The gold on top of the steeple.
I haven't. It hasn't screamed at me for the most part when I've been driving by it a bunch.
Okay, because you drive by it. I just thought I'd ask.
Yeah, it has. It is bright. It's gold, but it hasn't like screamed out at me though compared to other buildings like the freaking actual mosques, for example, where that gold dome just like screams out there to the public.
And what about the mound on the back? That has a gold dome too.
Yeah, I know, right? It's funny. It's funny, but it looks good though.
We are still excited.
Yeah,
Nicaragua?
It looks really good.
They've updated the page. Nicaragua, look at that. I think that picture is beautiful.
It is. That's a great photo they took of it with the sunset.
Mm-hmm.
Or rise. I don't know.
And there it is, Salt Lake.
Yeah, so April 5th through the 1st of October.
And it's going to start the day after General Conference.
Mm-hmm.
And then it ends the day before General Conference starts in the fall.
Yep, which means they'll be doing that dedication right there around General Conference.
Or the dedication's going to be, like some of them, it needs a month.
Well, it probably will be some time after the open house closes.
Like right here.
Because
September?
I mentioned it, Christy,
I've
I've mentioned it before with the DC Temple open house. It was 750,000 people went through the DC Temple, and it wore down the entire life of the carpet. So before they did the dedication, they had to replace all the carpets.
Oh.
And so that actually may happen with the Salt Lake Temple, where after the dedication, they may go ahead and have to do some renovations right before they actually go ahead and do the dedication itself.
Oh. But I know one thing I wanted to talk to you about that I thought was cool is we discussed it a little bit, the visitor center up at Temple Square, how they're basically making a small mini permanent open house for the main essential areas of the temple for people to go see.
Yeah.
It was dedicated. It's going to be a permanent little open house. People will be able to see the baptistry.
Yep.
They'll see our
That's the
ceiling
nice
room.
thing about the Salt Lake Visitor Center. It's going to have you're going to have a real-life mock-up of the Celestial Room, I believe. And a real-life mock-up of the baptistry.
Ceiling room.
And then the ceiling room. And then you're also going to have it's an actual model of the Salt Lake Temple that slices open so you can actually see the diagram of the inside of it.
But I think it's awesome if you come here to Utah and there's not an open house. You can go in there and see
you'll
the
still
main
be able,
basic rooms.
Yeah, after the dedication, you'll still be able to go and actually look and see the details of each of the rooms after the fact.
But actually be able to see what the inside of a temple would kind of be, even if there isn't an open house for some reason.
No, yeah, it's going to be great because it opens up, in a way it opens up the temple while keeping it also closed because of the sacred nature of the temple. But it opens up so people can see what it's like on the inside.
Those
I love
temples are beautiful.
And I hope they do that for more of the temples too. Like the DC temple has a visitor center there as well. And I would hope they actually do the same thing too with that visitor center. Renovate that visitor center would be great. All right, well.
Did you want to find a quote for the night?
Oh, I don't have to find a quote. I have a perfect quote from a wise man. He once said, "You don't know what you don't know."
Who's that from?
I'll tell you later. You guys have a good night. We're going to get out of here.